Hi, and welcome to this interview with Hobby from Tag Fine Arts. Tag Fine Arts is a dealer and publisher which champions works by emerging in mid-career artists, painters, sculptors, printmakers, and the gallery quickly became a household name through a series of publishing projects. And those projects and those works were acquired by museums like the British Library, the British Museum, the V&A, Deutsche Bank, the Government Art Collection, the Houses of Parliament. These are just a few of Hobby's clients. So hi, Hobby.
Hello, that just sounds so impressive. Thank you. I'm blushing.
So Hobby, tell us, how did you get started in the art world?
Oh, crikey. How did I get started? I had a friend in New York who invited me to set up an art consultancy back in London. And that was in the year 2000. And back then, it was mainly corporate, to be honest. It was corporate art consultancy. And we did reasonably well. And then we opened a gallery in Shoreditch in 2001. And we had the gallery for 3 years. And then I was actually introduced to Diana Ewer by a patron. And both Diana and I had come from a gallery background. And he said, I think you guys are absolutely great. You should meet and then you should open your own gallery. And that's exactly what we did, slowly but surely. We started collaborating in 2004, and then we launched Tag Fine Arts at the London Art Fair in Islington in January 2006. And we had a solo presentation at the London Art Fair. We launched with Robert Ryan, who is from the Royal College. And we had a collection of his original paper cuts and limited edition silk screens. And we had a sellout show. And it was absolutely amazing. That's how we started. We hit the ground running. Yeah.
And so, how do you work with artists? Do you represent them as in represent their full body of work, or do you collaborate on specific bodies of work or specific editions?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I don't think it's healthy to have exclusivity. Usually, when it comes to publishing, we will fundamentally support the artist and the project emotionally and financially, but it's specifically something that we think will work really well with our stable. And then there may be originals or other editions that we may not have anything to do with. So when it comes to publishing, it's something that we just really want to get behind. And then usually that edition, as an example, let's say it's an edition of 50, then that is exclusive to us. But the artist and their body of artwork is not exclusive to us.
So, how does it work? Because I think for an artist, that support is really important when you're doing an edition like that. Do you have maybe an example, or could you give us an idea of what that process is like from, you meet an artist or you've been working with them for a while, how that idea germinates and how that process takes place?
Yeah. So the best example, actually, I met the artist Stephen Walter at a group show. And I really liked the work that he produced because it was very detailed and it was about London. And I had a drink with him and he invited me to his studio, and he had produced an incredible work called The Island. And it was a very detailed pencil rendering of the whole of London drawn and reimagined as an island. And it was massive. I mean, it was over 2 meters wide by, I think it was like 1.60 meters high. And he had drawn this incredible piece. And I said, we should try and publish this as a limited edition. So he had to rework it to bring it to a reasonable scale. And we published it as an edition of 50. And we wrote to a lot of the London institutions like the Government Art Collection and the British Library and the V&A, and they all bought it. Yeah. And we had a show. So the idea was that it was more accessible because people may not be able to afford an expensive print or have the size of wall to accommodate a massive artwork. We had an idea that I asked Stephen if he would deconstruct each of London's 32 boroughs, and he had to digitally cut them out and rework them, and then we published them. I've just done the maths actually. So we published, London's got 32 boroughs, we published them as editions of 50, so we published 1,600 prints.
And I think it brings an interesting point where I think a lot of people who maybe are less familiar can have this misconceptions of galleries, that it's about the business and it's about selling work to collectors, but actually there's a whole side of your work that's speaking to curators, speaking to institutions, speaking to museums, and that, as you
Yeah.
say, it's really important for you and the artist to place that work in collections where it's going to live on and it's going to have a legacy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a balance like everything. I mean, it's important. I find joy genuinely for placing artworks, which some people may think of as being decorative and nice above the mantelpiece as well, because I want to make sure that the artists and the work get there, and we help decorate homes as well. But it's the institutions that really do get you going. It's a lot more involved, but yeah, ultimately so many more people will see the work.
Yeah. And what kind of artists do you work with? Is there a particular style, medium, subject that you gravitate towards?
I mean, it just depends. It could be the synergy or the luck of a meeting or an encounter, but we are trying to always continually find new artists as well, and to refresh the stable and make sure that you can see the creativity and color that we like so much. I mean, I like pop a lot, but we have over the years specialized in contemporary cartographic pieces, actually, which we're still doing, but also we're trying to build our stable of fine art painters, actually, because we've had a lot of print over the years, and that's great. We're always looking for new sculptors as well. So we want to make sure that it is as mixed as possible.
So you're always looking for pop, for color, for cartography, painting, sculpture, printmaking. And I think there's a nugget in there for artists that are potentially interested in working with galleries, is that you're looking for things that fit in the aesthetic, but are
Yeah,
something that you don't quite have yet in your roster of artists. So that's not too similar to somebody else that it wouldn't
exactly.
have a fit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's a really good point, actually. Finding something that complements, but also is different.
So, as a gallerist, how do new artists get on your radar? Do you look anywhere in particular?
Oh my goodness, I look at Instagram all the time, like everyone else probably. We still go to the degree shows with varying levels of success, because it depends what time we've got to the degree show before they've met somebody else. A long time ago, I always used to go to the degree shows. I love going to group shows, actually, pop-ups. I also think it's just a really good idea to go to some of the art fairs. We've met some really nice artists who exhibit at the other art fair, and we've been approached by other artists that exhibit at the Affordable and at the London Art Fair.
So, Instagram, group shows, degree shows are sort of the places that you look mainly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we get a lot of questions about Instagram because most artists have a love hate, emphasis on hate relationship to it.
me too.
Yeah, we all do. Spoiler alert. So, what's your relationship to Instagram, or what would attract you to a certain artist's post? Like, would you want to follow them for a while? What's your kind of.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like I'm quite old fashioned, that I just want to see the work in real life, in the flesh, at a show, especially, an exhibition or an art fair. I do, unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but I do doom scroll and go spend a little bit too much time on Instagram. I used to really enjoy Instagram. We used to post pictures on Instagram and we would sell them like that. I find that Instagram now is something that we just have to maintain, but it is important because we also use it. I use it to help me remember where we were. Actually, we post an exhibition. We were just in New York last week. In a couple of weeks' time, I'll be thinking, hang on a minute, where was that artwork? What were we doing? And then we'll always make sure to geotag wherever we are. And then I can find the artwork when I'm referring and showing it to a client.
So, you use it both as a research tool, an
Help me
archive,
remember.
yeah, and a way to keep in touch with people, but maybe more loosely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting how you mentioned that your relationship with Instagram has evolved, and I think a lot of ours have, where it's, yeah, sometimes you post something and somebody's like, I'll have it, but really, I think nowadays it's more about nurturing and growing your network, in particular your email list. So it's about getting a first in with somebody, like bringing them into your world, getting them on the newsletter list, sending them invites to private views. It's about nurturing that relationship more
Yeah.
than just on a phone, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And we have a good, polished 7,500 active email addresses on our UK database. We send out a newsletter maybe to our mailing list once a fortnight, and I think that's really important. But I have noticed actually in the last year or two that it's also really important to make sure that we're actually WhatsApping clients, that it's just a bit more personal, and you know that they've read it and they're more likely to reply.
That's a really interesting nugget in terms of the different platforms that you can use, and how with some sort of VIP collectors or VIP clients, you want a really close
Mm,
relationship, an easy way to get to them and not get buried into their Instagram feed or their junk mail.
exactly.
Thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch the full 1 hour interview and get top tips from an expert, then click the link below and join the Art Ladder mentoring program now. By joining the Art Ladder, you will get access to our full library of webinars with curators, collectors, critics, gallerists, and more. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this, and check out the description below for more free resources for artists.